Hi there, it's me again, Lavanya. We are continuing our thought process on Unmai, vilakkam. We are moving on with the next verse, which is verse number 33. We are in the process of discussing the mantras, the different varieties of mantras. In yesterday's verse, we spoke about what does Namasivaya represent and how we must be visualizing the mantra Namasivaya. Today, in today's verse, we are going to talk about the next mantra, which is Sivaya Nama. This is like climbing a ladder. So we started with Namasivaya. Then now we are slowly moving on to the next mantra, which is Sivaya Nama. Let's look at verse number 33. Serkkum thudi sigaram, sirkanava viisukaram, arkum yagaram abhayakaram, parkil iraikku அங்கி நகரம் அடிக்கீழ் முயலகனார் தங்கும் மகரம் அது தான், which is how do we visualize the mantra Sivaya Nama in the form of Nataraja is what this particular verse is explaining to us. Remember, we have already spoken about the right pronunciation of these mantras. We are not supposed to pronounce it as Sivaya Namaha or Sivaya Namaka, because those are not mantras. If we are representing those syllables, it doesn't represent a mantra, so it will become something like calling someone's name. But if you want the effect of saying a mantra, it must be said as Sivaya Nama. Now this Sivaya Nama means Lord Shiva in the form of cosmic dancer, and we are going to visualize this mantra in his form, in this cosmic dancing form. Now if you look at the cosmic dancer, you will be able to see 4 arms, and those are the 4 arms which is very important, and the feet which is pressing on the floor is the 5th one, which is important. So we are going to represent these 5 parts of Lord Shiva's body in the form of cosmic dancer to represent the mantra Sivaya Nama. Let's look at each and every part. The first one is the letter C. How do we visualize C? If you look at it, there is one arm which holds on to the drums. A small little drums will be there, which will, we know that it makes now noise, right? Sound form is also Lord Shiva. That's why he is called as Nada. Nada means sound. So he is basically in the form of sound, and he is beyond that as well. So what happens is the arm which is holding on to the drums, that is what we call it as C. The next one is the swaying arm. If you look at it, the swaying arm shows us to his feet that is also swaying, which means we as soul, the end of the day, we are waiting to get onto that particular feet, below that feet. That is where our life needs to be settled. That is our permanent home. That is our permanent space. That is why the hand which is swaying, the arm which is swaying, shows to that particular feet. It's pointing to that foot to say, remember, one day, any time, it is going to be this place where you're going to settle down in your life. So that is where the swaying arm comes in, and that represents the letter Va. The next one is the arm which is in the form of blessing. So the blessing arm represents Ya, and then the hand, the arm which holds on to the fire, that is called as Na. Na is the arm which is holding on to the fire. And finally, the foot which is pressing on to you can see a small little baby kind of a formation where Lord Shiva is standing, right? That is actually not a baby, that is basically our ignorance. So the ignorance is taken in the form of that particular demon, and Lord Shiva is dancing on top of that demon. It is not a baby. So usually we simply say that the Lord Shiva is dancing on a baby and this and that. Again, that is also caused by ignorance. Other than that, we cannot say anything, just laugh at them and just move on. because the initial concept of Shiva is more important. We should not be seeing him as a man standing on a child and dancing. That is not the concept. We are looking at the concept of cosmic dancer. So the foot that is pressing on to that demon, that is basically the letter Ma. So we have spoken about all the 5 syllables Si, Va, Ya, Na, Ma. Just as a small recap, the arm which holds on to the drums is Si, the swaying arm is Va, blessing arm is Ya, the arm which holds on to the fire is Na, the foot that is pressing on to the demon, which is called as Muyalagan, that represents the letter Ma. This is the next form of the mantra which we have seen. So we have totally seen 2 mantras, which is Nama Sivaya and the next one is Sivaya Nama. I'll come back again with the next verse very soon. Until then, bye bye.